Thought we might do just a quick walkthrough of the van because we've had it for about 10 months now. What's the van and I guess why we've changed it over. We obviously changed over in October of 24. We had the Crosstrack for about 4 years, and I think probably when we were going through South Australia in the 23, 24, we had some pretty bad weather. So funnily enough, the one thing that we really liked about the Crosstrack, which was that outdoor kitchen, was probably the one thing that on that longer trip when we were kind of on the go, like not every day but every couple of days, did make it more difficult with it being really wet and windy and not having any inside option, that we started to really think about what did we want to do. Also, the awning on it was on the actual pop top, so you had to pull the awning out a bit to then put the top up and then put the awning back in if you weren't actually putting the awning all the way out. They had also released the newer version where they actually deleted that outdoor kitchen with the little hatch. It had sort of more the pull out drawer kitchen from that front hatch that a lot of them have, and that was kind of the one thing that everybody liked. So in terms of resale, it was also a pretty good time to get rid of it because people were sort of still looking for that side kitchen hatch. So we decided that we would sell it and then just kind of see what came about. We were already starting to have a bit of a look at these Crusaders, but we weren't necessarily ready to buy. We're thinking that probably we would, if we were going to buy, maybe build one this year. We weren't overly concerned about it. And then around about September of 24, they announced a new 2025 model, so Crusader, and there were some things in it that we didn't really like. They'd changed a number of the brands and some of the formats, and obviously when they brought out the new model, they were also then starting to run out the older models. So we then sort of waited up and actually decided to just grab some of the run out floor stock. We ended up picking it up in Canberra, that we weren't able to obviously change anything. It just come with its, whatever was standard on it from factory. Colour wise and everything, it was pretty similar probably to what we, had we been able to choose what we would have got. I think we've worked out by the end of this trip about 60 nights so far, which is not too bad. So we've had a pretty good use of it. Been up the Darling River Road, been out to Murruwinji. Definitely had some dust, so we'll talk a little bit about some of the issues that we've had as well. When we were looking for a van, we still had to watch the weight because we've obviously got the canopy on the truck, which makes us pretty heavy anyway. But we also didn't want anything a whole lot bigger than the Crosstrack, but we wanted the full height. Obviously indoor shower, toilet, we wanted some indoor cooking options, and then the north-south bed. They were kind of, I guess, what we were using as guide points for what was going to work for us, and that was where the Gladiator Force came in. So I think it's like 6'7" or something, and I think the Crosstrack was like 6'4". So it is a little bit longer, but not a whole lot longer. These composite vans are quite light, so that works for us. The one thing that's a little bit different with these ones is actually the rear window. I quite like it actually. A bit when we first were looking at it, we're like, oh, that's a little bit weird. But you do often find that you're obviously reversing into spots and then you don't actually see anything. So with that one, you do get a view because you've got the back window. Actually being able to, because when we go inside, you'll see that's where the kitchen is. We've pulled up quite a few times for lunch and you just pop that little window, you get a little bit of fresh air when you're making lunch. And yeah, we've actually found that it works quite well. So this is the new bit that we've got to figure out, because we obviously in the old van had the outside kitchen hatch. So you got tyre on the rear bar. Around this side, it's all pretty standard. It's got the toilet hatch, so the little window. So it doesn't have a roof hatch, toilet or extraction fan. It's got that window there. It doesn't take up space on the roof, so if you do want to put extra solar on, you can. We've obviously got 2 vents there for the fridge because it's got full-size fridge. You've got your power there. Now water-wise, got 3 tanks. We've got 210 litre fresh water and 110 grey water. It's all fully plumbed in. 2 sinks inside, and the shower goes straight to the grey tank, and then it's got the bypass valve. Oops, if you can see at the back there, so we can just bypass the tank and come straight through if we're connected up, otherwise it goes under. It's got the little underfill, so if you're trying to fill your tanks, you can actually fill from here rather than up on the little fillers, which does seem to work better. Still trying to work out which combination of these and these match up with which tank, but we sort of think we've started to get that sorted. So it comes with AT tyres, 2 filler points. It does have Truma gas heater. So this was another change for us. This is a tank hot water, so it goes on both electricity and gas, whereas before we had the instant hot water. So that's one thing to get used to, is you do have to run it for like 25-30 minutes for the water to actually be warm. Big hatch here, and you probably see some sunshine there, so it goes the full length. So it comes with the rear and front big light bars. You'll see up on the top it's got the Dometic DRS. We're probably still a little bit not so much fans of whether it actually does work or not. It's got the big skylight vent next to it. You've got the wind up aerial. It's got the AC on it. You've got the big box at the front here. So this side it's filthy. 2 9-kilo bottles. Comes with the stone guard. So you've got DO35 hitch. We were obviously already set up in terms of the car with the 12 pin and the Anderson plug. What we have changed is it did have a pull-off jockey wheel, so we've obviously now put this Boss jockey wheel. We've got the plate. At the moment it's so much better because it can just stay on the van. You don't have to keep pulling it on and off. Got the tap. It's actually already plumbed to the pump, so you can pretty much use it whether you're on grid or off grid, which is really good. Independent suspension, so it is an off-road van. All the tanks have got some protection. We've got the sway control, which you can see on that front chassis there. So the other side of the toolbox, which works really well for us, for the Weber, for the baby Q. So it just stays there all the time, so we can just pull it out, take the cover off, plug it into the gas, cook with it, put it back down and put it away. Whereas before we had it on the other side in the hatch, so you had to get it out, fully set it up. So that's much quicker for us. Little bayonet here. Window is the other side of that hatch. We keep the outside table, chairs and stools and whatever else in there. It does come with the outdoor TV hatch, so that's already set up. So you've got the little sort of bayonet that you pop the telly in, and you've got 12 volt, 24, 240 volt, and then the aerial connections already there. Drop down picnic table, in terms of on the roof as well, so you can see the aerial. We've also got 2 200 watt panels on there. So the only other change from the other van is we had one of the rollout awnings. This is obviously a box awning, so it's the Fiamma F45S. It does seem to be a little bit more flimsy. Quite a few, as there always is, there's a Facebook page group for everyone that owns the same sort of van. A few people have done some different things. We've got to get the anti-flap kit fitted yet, haven't got that on there. The way we travel, we don't always use an awning anyway, so it's not as big a deal for us at the minute. They're for the legs on the for the box awning, so they come back if you're putting it on the van rather than the legs down on the ground. Pretty normal in terms of door. It's just the collapse away. It's got the metal, got this little blind. So when it was built, it was after the change in regs, so that's the this one here is the battery box. So I've got a 200 amp lithium battery, which we originally thought was 100 amp because we were going down at least like 20-25% overnight. We were sort of like a bit surprised, but then when we actually went back and had a look, it actually is a 200 amp hour, but I actually think inside on our screen is maybe not configured properly. Indoor outdoor speaker, you can see it there. You got one light there on this side, another one up there. You've got the front and back big lights. We've just chucked yellow electrical tape on the lights to try and help with the bugs. Oh, the step is electric. Do you want to... Again, not sure if we're sold on that. It's kind of cute, but it is another thing to break, and a few of the others have kind of broken it. So it's one of those things, I think, that once it breaks, we probably turn it over to just a single manual, because there have been times like where it does come down quite low. We've got a bit of a issue with the step at the moment because we can't quite get the electric one down. So we'll sit on our bum and then get out. Yeah, I think that covers everything outside, so we'll have a bit of a look inside. One of the things you do have to get used to is as soon as you come up those steps, you're meeting a full length mirror. Got the little handle, which is good, nice and safe, so that when you step into the van. Alright, so the kitchen, when you're inside, you've got the 4 burner, so they're all gas. like a little grill, so that's quite handy. So that was obviously one of the things that we wanted, was an actual kind of permanent indoor cooking option. It's got the sink. We've obviously added this little bar for our little washing up mat. Added the paper towel holder. You get 2 spotties over the kitchen, and it's also got the light there. Again, we've added some yellow electrical tape for bugs, and then it's also got the extractor fan. Yeah, so you've got that window, which, as I said, is quite nice when we're just here making lunch, and you can open it up and see what's going on and get some breeze. There's lots of storage in here, although stuff's probably going to come flying out. Alright, so you can see plenty of storage. We are yet to get any bars or anything to stop everything doing what that is doing, which has come out, which just is going to happen if you don't have something stopping it. Down here, like, you've got 2 shelves, so we've just got kind of cleaning, mortine, bits and pieces that we kind of get to. We use that for heavier tins of food. Got the little bin, got the rack. We've obviously then got 5 of these drawers, pretty much set up the Aussie way. Got knives and forks in there, or the second drawer of all the other crap that you use. We've got the cling wrap and foil and rubbish bins. That one's sort of more a bit of a laundry bathroom. And then this one we've got as a bit of a first aid, because you can actually reach into it from the doorway, so it kind of makes that nice and accessible. This top one, we've got all of bowls and plates and whatever else, and some storage for Tupperware and those sorts of things. So again, pretty decent sized drawer. This one does scrape a bit on the bottom. The boys have got to look at that again. We've just got all of our cooking stuff in there. So we've got pots and pans, some baking dishes. It's where the kettle usually goes if it's not sitting in the sink. Alright, we'll do the bathroom next. Obviously you've got the mirrored, full length mirror door. Otherwise when you come in, got the shower head. We still haven't unpacked. So that's how we travel with it, with the little noodle in the little bag. So it doesn't scratch anything. We just clean with the microfiber, so they're in the sink. Just got little fusion locks everywhere because they work really well. So this bathroom is actually a little bit bigger than the cross track. So you can see there's actually a little shower curtain that you pull across. You see it up there. So that actually when you shower it then doesn't wet in behind. So because it's a combo, so you've got the loo, so just the normal Tedford loo there, but actually so you have that whole space to shower in, and then you've got the loo, it doesn't get wet. You've then got another cupboard. You can see we're still trying to work out what we store everything in, so we've got boxes and whatever else, so the old spack filler does the job there at the minute. We've added a little towel rack so that overnight we usually kind of hang one on this silver rail and then one on there, and that just helps dry. There's that window that I pointed out from outside, got the light. So you've got that sink, so again shower and sink are plumbed to that grey tank outside, so we can either fill the grey tank or bypass it and it'll just go straight out the hose. So you can see like right next to where the bathroom door is, we've got the full size, well I suppose full size fridge. It's what, 170 litre fridge, so we've got freezer, and then the fridge with the little crisper. So above the door, a little padded, for your head. We're obviously not big enough to have to worry about that. It all runs on the BM Pro, so I think that's the one that we need to reconfigure. Solar fuses, we've always just got hooks everywhere for hats and sunnies and whatever else, so those would come in, they're not floating around in the doorway. That's the indoor speakers and the radio, CD. You can actually Bluetooth to it so you can run your phone through it. Storage wise, we've then got that big cupboard, and then we've sort of got 3 drawers, and then there's a little kit cupboard. This one does get a little bit of movement because it's so big, so on the road we do put that little child lock on to stop it from being able to get that momentum. We've got 3 shelves in there. As you can see, it's pretty well empty. Like, the biggest thing, we've actually got some storage now, so we carry the little baby mini air fryer and a little toaster, which is a bit novel because we've got enough power. We've also got the inverter in the truck, which will actually power the van. We can run the aircon off it for probably, I reckon, max like 30 minutes if we had to, which is why we haven't gone for any more than the 200 amp hour battery, because we've got 200 in the van, we've got 200 in the truck. The 2000 watt inverter in the truck, if anything, we'll probably up the 2000 watt inverter to a 3000 in the truck. We don't need to have them in both. We've just got odds and ends. We're still sorting out screens and insects. We've got batteries. We've got some little portable LED lights that we put up overnight, so that particularly for off-grid we don't have to use all the battery. Towels and some toiletries in this one. So again, like, these drawers are pretty big. Just more space filling stuff here. This is the RV camera. Actually, I probably didn't point that out on the back of it, but it looks kind of like that. That comes with it. Oh, sorry, kind of like that. We haven't even used it. We do actually need to try and use it to obviously make sure that it works, so that the boys know if they need to have a look at it. And then you've got this little kit cupboard, because that's where the wheel well is. So we've just got a little box that's just got like all of our kind of swimming stuff, like blow up noodles, blow up donuts, and all those kinds of things if we happen to be by the water. So there is another one under the fridge, which is also where the fridge runs on 240 if you've got it on that way. Again, we've got a couple of boxes of stuff. Got some manuals, and I actually think that box is empty just to fill the space. So we definitely have heaps of storage in this one. There's a number of different, I guess, versions of these CRVs. So you've got some on-road, some off-road. The Gladiator version are the off-road. So the Force has these little seats here. They normally do have more professional commercial cushions on them. We actually don't find them very comfy at all. So that is one thing that we have done. So we've ripped them out. We're actually just test driving Clark rubber cushion at the moment. This one's probably a little bit too thin. It's 50mm for the seat. So she's got her little backrest. So we're just trying to work out what thickness we need at the back and what we need underneath, then we'll get them covered. But yeah, the others are probably 3 or 4 times that thickness. I think maybe being short, our feet then don't touch the ground, so they're just not comfortable. They're too far out, you sit too far forward. The other thing with this CRV range, you can maybe see there's like a little hatch under there. These usually, I think when you see them, will have 2 single bed, and then obviously that little walkway goes all the way to the bed head. Or not quite all the way to the bed head, actually. About 2/3 of the way down. Can obviously then change it over to a double, so the mattresses actually zip together, and then you've got this little board here that goes, which obviously then fills that gap in. Can have it as 2 singles or a queen, and that's pretty much in that whole CRV range. We've got a little box, a little clear box you might be able to see down there that we've both got just near our bed, so that we can put like bits and pieces of our phone charging cords and stuff, and they're just always there. They've got a lid on it, so they're protected as well. The other thing that we did do is we call it the big anchor. There's a massive table that comes with it, and it's just way too big, so we've actually taken it out. So just that little guy there just sits on the bed when we travel, but it just fits in between the 2 seats for us to both eat off, or if I'm working or whatever else. It's just small enough, doesn't get in the way. It does come with the 2 12-volt fans, so one on either end of the cupboards. I'll talk about that little stick-on blue thing in a minute. So we've got the aircon, microwave, so that's all standard. As I said, like, we haven't done anything. That's the little vent. It's got the little lights around it. That square there is the DRS, Dometic DRS. I'll probably put some pictures up of what this whole panel looked like after we came out of Murruwinji and up the Darling River Road. It was just red, covered in dust. We think some of it was coming in that vent, which is why we now seal it when we travel. It is a gas vent. I think this window here probably needs to be resealed, because it is also leaking a little bit sort of on the inside down the window, which is the same thing that we had happen with this window, back window. The boys have already pulled both those windows out and reseated and resealed them, and they seem to be fine. Passenger side, you've got the 240. We've added the carbon monoxide alarm. We actually have changed these out, so because they come with like 2.1, we've put in some faster charging. Most of the new phones need them. They do come with a reading light. Again, we've added a little bit of electrical tape for yellow for me. On this side, you've got 240 obviously for the telly and the aerial, another bracket for the telly to pop into. Over here we've got, so the hot water, as I said, runs on gas and electric. We've also got a main switch for the AC, so it's got to be on before the AC will work, whether you're plugged into power or not. Again, we changed that one out, another 240. That's the Truma gas hot water. Reading light, so they are white light, they don't change to blue. Opposite the microwave, you've then got another big cupboard. We've got the telly, we just put it in the bag and it just travels on the bed. In terms of the bed, you've got a little reading light on each side. You've got these 3 hatches. We'll see whether anything's going to fall out. No, so again, so we always use our packing cubes. So you've got 3 of them. There is plenty of space. You will, like, it does curve, kind of, whilst that one goes down there. As it gets higher, you do lose, so back, you do lose a little bit with that curvature. If you lift the bed up on this side, it has got a little bit of storage. It's also got the battery management system. On this side, it's got the where the hot water tank comes back in. It's got the gas, the heater connections, and then you'll see where the gas heater comes out there. We've got some little mats. We actually picked these up at our first IKEA trip quite some time ago, and then we just put the bath mats on the top because we can obviously just take them home and wash it. So if we do come in with dirty boots or dirty feet or whatever else, it also just helps with a little bit of the cold. By the end of this trip, it will have travelled over 10,000 k's, so it's done a reasonable distance, so we've got a pretty good idea. Compared to the cross track, it is a little bit wider and it's a little bit longer, as I said, so it does seem to travel a lot longer. It's what I always say, it sticks to the ground a bit more. The cross track tended to, I don't know, just sort of feel like it was jumping around a little bit. This one doesn't seem to do that, so towing it is really nice. It's not a whole lot heavier than the cross track. In terms of issues, so this passenger window and the back window have actually been replaced because they were leaking a little bit. We're going to probably have to get this driver's side one done as well. We also think that the seal that's running along the inside is actually upside down because the little breathe holes are on the inside, not underneath. And we think that that's where maybe we're still getting a little bit of water through that back window. Dust, already said, like with the DRS up here and with this vent that we've got covered up. Put some others up in terms of under, like with these kickboards, like here and here, which is where the wheel wells are, but actually also under the seats. The seat on the door side. So you can see you've got the wheel well. We've got, this is our alcohol storage, but you've got pretty much about the same sort of storage on the other one. I'll put some pictures up of what they actually look like. After the river run Murruwinji that we went to, there was a lot of dust in there. So we've gone through and kind of tried as much as we can on the inside around the wheel wells. We've gone through and siliconed it. We've still got to get actually up underneath the wheel arch outside, underneath the big cupboard as you come in the door. When we were sealing one of the corners of it, when we had a look outside under the actual wheel arch, you could see that silicone coming through. So clearly it wasn't properly sealed, which was where a lot of dust was coming. So it was actually proper open. We've got to get underneath and seal around all of the hoses and tubes, and which I think is pretty typical with fans now. They don't really seal them up as well as they should. So you've just got to make sure that there's no gap in around any of that piping. That's where dust will come in. So yeah, probably the two biggest things that we've had is the windows with water leak and then dust egress. The other, we had, when we were on the river road, a leak coming from the roof that was running down into that outer hatch and actually ran a little bit into the corner of the bed head on this side. So when we actually got up on the front toolbox, I was able to see where there was a gap along that silicone lining along the roof. So we temporarily fixed that. At the moment, touch wood, it has actually held, so that's something else they need to look at. So we actually did get up around that whole roof, and anything that looked like it had a little gap, we have put some sealant on just to try and hold it until they get to look at it properly. So this little round kind of knob coming out of the ceiling, that's supposed to be the wind handle for the aerial. Last trip we were on, I went to wind it down and it just kind of came off in my hands. Like, you can still put it on and actually use it. The other thing that we just thought of with the TV aerial, that when we first got it and we wound it up, we're actually at, I think we're at Tash's mum and dad's, like literally the first, oh no, it wasn't the first night we used it, but we went out after we brought it home, and when we actually went to put the aerial up, it was like really wobbly, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look right. And so that was one of the things that got fixed at its first service, was that they did tighten and seal that back down. The only sort of, I guess, things that we've added, you can see, it's just a little pull off. We actually got it at Aldi. So it's just magnet, USB charge. It sits there when we travel. Oh, is it? Yep, sits there when we travel. We haven't had any trouble with it. Nice little bright light. So again, we don't actually have to use the battery itself, because we can charge it when we're plugged into power in the car, or just use a little bit to charge it, and we just use it overnight. We've got lots of little fusion locks everywhere. But I think cushions and the Boss jockey wheel, the biggest things that we've done, other than the usual fusion locks. Water and dust are the biggest issues that we've had. Overall, 10 months in, we actually are really happy with the van and the way that it's going. We've been, I think I said we bought it in Canberra, because that was where the floor stock was. Given that we didn't actually buy the van at Newcastle, the guys in the service area have been really great. They've been really thorough. I've been really happy with them in terms of them getting on top of some of the warranty stuff and fixing, helping us out in a couple of different things if we haven't been able to work out what's going on. If we've missed anything, throw it down below. I'm happy to answer any other questions. But yeah, that's our quick 10-month in look at our new Crusader CRV Gladiator Force van.